Magic of creation. They come up with ideas, they look for new solutions, collaborate to create original projects. Co-creation is what inspires them, pushes them forward, makes them stronger. They affirm eternal values of life, making this world a little better. Creative personalities and groups, authors of non-trivial ideas and projects, phenomenal theatrical productions and films, people of science and culture who once decided to amaze the world. In documentary series Magic of Creation. What makes theatrical production successful? A well-known company takes up the classic work, reads it in its own contemporary and original way. No doubt, actors' performance and professionalism of all behind-the-scenes theater workers is crucial, but in this project, the main weight is on directors' shoulders. Creative torments, doubts, decisions, even pain, all of this lays on director's path to the truth, to the embodiment of her most daring ideas, all this to achieve the single moment of clarity, the moment when souls open up. This moment is what makes theater experience magical. Before any production begins, there is a meeting with artists and director, during which they decide on which play to perform. This is the main stage. All other stages follow later. A lot depends on this core team. I can be a centrifugal force, but I need like-minded people to work with. Gulnaz Balpeisova was born in the Shingurlau village in western Kazakhstan. The dream of becoming an artist brought her to St. Petersburg to the famous Muinskaya Art Academy. It took her 2 months to realize that she was not ready to devote her life to theater costumes and decorations. Gulnaz went to Moscow, handed over the documents to the State Institute for Theater Arts, GITIS, to enter Heifetz acting workshop. 2 years later, she realized it wasn't quite what she wanted either. She returned to St. Petersburg, where she was trained as a theater critic for almost a year. Her ebullient creative nature drew her on the road yet again. Rimas Tuminas, the one whose work she fell in love with instantly, was searching for students to join his workshop in Moscow. She graduated from the Shukin Theatre Institute in 2016, trained as theatre director in the studio of her idol. This choice suited her rebellious spirit. It came to me gradually. The turning point was when I realized I wanted to be somewhat like one-woman band. When you enter the art field, there is one main question you need to answer, and answer honestly. Am I willing to do this all my life? It's a serious commitment to be able to say, I'm an artist. Director is a special profession, with skills handed from one generation of artists to another. Gulnaz was trained by famous directors Silvio Purcareta, Yuri Butusov and Rimas Tuminas. Many stressful days and sleepless nights passed before the young director was entrusted with the stage. At just 27 years old, Gulnaz has directed 2 performances on stage of the Vakhtangov's theater in Moscow. After that, she was invited to Almaty, to the Russian drama theater named after Lermontov. She agreed to this offer right away. It's an honor for a young director to work on the most famous play of Russian classical theater, Griboyedov's Woe from Wheat. It was a challenge for me. Challenge because this is one of the most difficult plays, and also because my master was directing Woe from Wheat in Moscow. This was an internal battle as well. I was very ironic about this at first, because Chatsky, the main character, spent 3 years traveling, aiming to learn, to see the world. in search to satisfy his curiosity, to become a professional and so on. He has this duality, let's call it this way. It seems to me that I'm like Chatsky of some sort, a young person who came back home and holds on to his free thinking. Then comes a gentleman, one of those men that make at once an old good friend. A man so tactful, wise, as well as shy. You know those poor fellows. Don't talk to me about the poor. A poor man is not a match for you. Stop. Before actually beginning our project, we had what we call injection rehearsals. We watched films, performances directed by Rimas Vladimirovich, by me, performances from the Cheha festival. It was part of learning, revealing of what comes next. I don't wish to contradict words that I require, to know that it exists and it's good, it's different. Not to steal this story, but to rejoice that the theater is alive, and that it is on another, on international level, and that we also can be at this level. Now that you have seen the world, it's Moscow you'll come up to scold. Well, where is a better place? A place where we don't find ourselves. I'm very grateful to Gulnaz, because in my experience, not that it's too big, but according to our old-timers, we haven't worked like this in the theater for a long time. This is a Moscow school. We're here all day round. I dream about this play at night, I rehearse in my sleep. The play is all we think about. Gulnaz gave us a startling working rhythm. In my opinion, between us, she's a theater fanatic. She loves it so much, gives her all to it. This is her life, I like it. What will become of this? I'd rather not guess, but I'm certain it will be interesting, exciting. Ralph on stage. This is our story. In order to make the classical work of the 18th century clear to modern viewers, actors need to convey its message, live it emotionally. This is how the director sees the play. There are certain principles according to which our parents live, their daily worries, their priorities. We forget about this, we come back. And so, when prodigal son returns, heartbroken, disappointed with what seemed to be exciting world, back to the warmth of his home, their same rules persisted. These rules are a little bit forgotten, and as a result we begin to perceive each other with hostility. At that moment the family is collapsing. When these ties are broken, for no apparent reason, mother and daughter stop communicating, fathers and sons are not speaking to each other because of explosive, choleric behavior. This issue is close to us. We, Kazakhstani people, are very temperamental, living next to mountains, near the hot steppe. For play to shine with new vibrant colors, you need a huge staff of professionals. Prop masters, costume designers, tailors, everyone works to achieve the task set by the director. The initial inspiration comes from the character, its looks. Then the actor, his or her body type, what suits them. This is also taken into account. This is what it looks like. It's both at that age and at the same time it's timeless. These are the costumes. Here we have Ira Kelbler's ballet tutu. There are also classic models. We have felt boots too. Various things. Month-and-a-half period of daily rehearsals had passed. The costumes are ready. The decorations are designed and worked on. At the moment, they are designing the lighting for the play. For this production, they purchased a light screen, which is more often found in ballet productions. Lighting artist Narek Timanyan, a friend and associate of the director, serves in the Moscow Bolshoi Theatre. Together with Gulnaz Balpiisova, they staged several performances on the small stage of the Vakhtangers Theatre in Moscow. We design lights for every dramatic change, so that the atmosphere works for the task set by the director. This process lasts until the premiere. We keep checking, improving the design. I wouldn't claim that we get it to perfection, but we sure bring it to the level that satisfies the director, that lighting conveys the atmosphere and mood of the director's idea. Eyes in the hall. Can you take a step back? Another one. And to the right. Yes, like that. Sitting here, realizing the mass of responsibility on your shoulders, it's a big pressure. You realize that in case something is not done or goes wrong, you will be responsible for that. Means you were not strong enough, not charming enough. If they don't want to do it, you need to make sure they change their minds. It's necessary to convince. You need to learn to be a tyrant, a good-hearted person, a father, a sister, and a daughter, all in one. It's necessary to be present in all aspects. I think it derives from love. Whom do you love? Good heavens, all mankind. And whom do you prefer? Well, there are relatives. You love me most of all. Some of them, that is. What do I hope for when all is done? I'm prepared to kill myself while she's having fun. In Soviet theatre interpretation, the love theme in Woe from Wheat was not prevalent. It was the conflict between the old and the new that was central to the play. This is his first love since childhood. The reason behind choosing Molchaly and not Chatsky was due to the fact that the woman was honest. She waited for him for 3 years. No news, no letters. She says, I'd rather take my own life than marry him and be his wife. It's like a refrain to Tatiana. If it's not Onegin, then anyone. I will live as is expected from me because the love was taken away. If you'd loved someone, you'd never go on a lasting trip like that. Now listen. Don't I treat you well? I never mind a queer man's trick. I have a laugh and then forget it quick. And if it were your desire that I should go into the fire, I'd do it without thinking twice. It will be nice if you get burnt. And if you don't? I had different training. Rimas Tuminas' school. He has his own specific theatre. We are not used to working nose to nose. We always talked through space. Rimas Vladimirovich brainwashed us into thinking that even heaven are watching our work. He's all about the idea that it's not for them and not for us, that all this goes into eternity. This is different metaphorical consciousness. It's a different way of working with the text. It has a different flight. Everything is different. It doesn't matter where I sit. There were moments of shock therapy, in fact, that we act differently. I think it was interesting to everyone. The results are satisfying. I see the progress. I'm happy with everyone. By now they understand me instantly. Some characters are played by two actors. Gulnaz explained that it's different from having two sets of actors or understudies when two artists work on same characters in the same way. Mikhail Tokarev portrays Famusov in quite a different manner. Therefore, the mise-en-scenes with him line up in completely different way. Famusov is a land role. This is a role that I, at my age, wanted to play. And now I'm rehearsing. If the viewer goes for me, if they like me, and perhaps they recognize themselves in my character, then I think my Famusov turned out well. The theater begins with fortune. Admission is like a lottery. When there are 200, 500 people per place, art is a completely subjective matter. By that time you begin to believe in fortune, in luck, catching the Gulf Stream. You start with this and then the premiere happened as anticipated and bum or not bum. I wonder who the charges are. With age they show hostility to freedom. They read the press that date as far back as the Crimean War. They call it wisdom. They are quick to criticize and curse and always sing the same old song. They never think they can be wrong. The older these men are, the worse. Another thing that was done differently was press preview. Journalists and bloggers were invited to the dress rehearsal to discuss the production before the premiere. This is the practice of Western theaters. It's important for the director to understand whether his ideas are understandable and relatable to the viewer. I need a troupe over here. I show the ensemble. The artists who play Griboyedov, War from Wheat, we talk about ourselves through the play. I understand that I will leave eventually. This is a temporary project, but what I gave them and what they gave me, this will stay with us forever. We are a team, Chatskys, Bandelogs. This is our interpretation, our novel. This is our family. We have both Famusov and Chatsky side, Sofia's side, the women's and men's team. They are both young and older generation. This is our story. I wanted to have a sensation of common adventure. There will be a large audience of 600 people. This is the auditorium, which will want to devour Chatskys Bandelogs. The main battle is still to come. I hope we'll come to a truce.
Главная битва же будет потом. Придем к перемирию.
Theatre has an amazing magical power. It takes as much from you as it is able to give back later. The theatre is an endless dialogue with the viewer, with yourself. Here, anyone can discover an artist, a musician, a critic within. This is the world where your joys and sufferings and sleepless nights remain. You move towards your goal, your great achievement, to leave your name, among the great ones in the history of mankind.